All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Schnick Talk Sports. Today we got a fun one. At least it's fun for me. Nico Harrison was fired. Are we shocked? No. Are we surprised? No. But I am coming in with a bit of a hot take, but you're going to have to hear me out. Do I think at this point in time it makes sense for the Mavericks to fire him? Yes. But I don't think it's for the reason that you would think. Now let me start with this. I love Luka. I love Anthony Davis. AD was my favorite player in the league last year before he was traded. Luka's probably my favorite player now that he's on the Lakers. And I obviously can understand from the Lakers' point of view why they would trade for Luka Doncic. I mean, I don't need to get into that. That's a no-brainer. But on the other side, I also understand why the Mavericks would trade for Anthony Davis. It makes sense that Nico Harrison's vision was defensive-minded, championship-caliber team run through Anthony Davis. He can be your number one scoring option. He can be your defensive anchor. He can rally the troops and allow everybody to have to do less on the defensive end because he can help so much. And even before they were slated to get Cooper Flagg, they had a solid team built around him. I mean, we have Kyrie Irving, although he is coming off an ACL injury. We got Klay Thompson, we have PJ Washington, we got Derek Lively, we got Daniel Gafford. I mean, these are solid rotational pieces that had all been to the finals, by the way. Now, the missing piece is health. And everybody knows that when you trade for Anthony Davis, his health is in question. And it's just something that you have to live with. It's something you take the risk on. The Lakers did it, and it paid off. They got a championship in their first year with him in 2020. Now, in Nico Harrison's defense, this team was slated to be one of the top teams in the league. I didn't have them very high, but a lot of people thought that this is a championship caliber team that could make a real run at it this year. The problem with that obviously comes down to who's healthy and who's not. AD, yet again, is injured, but everybody's acting like he tore his ACL or something. Like the dude's got a calf strain. He's been out for 6 games. He's day-to-day. He's going to come back at some point. Yes, they're 3-8. Yes, they're 14th in the league at the time of recording. But who cares? They're 11 games into an 82-game season. Give them time. They still got to work together and figure it all out because everybody knows they couldn't do that last year with everybody being injured. Not to mention, Kyrie is still out. He's going to come back at some point. I mean, he was ahead of his recovery process, according to reports, even though he denied those and the team denied those. But I still expect him to be back at some point this season if they are, in contention to make the playoffs. But that's something that you really got to remember. Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, healthy together as a duo, is one of the top duos in the league, and there's nothing you can debate about that, simply put. Not to mention, although I've said he's been overrated for the last few years, they still have a 4-time champion in Klay Thompson. Now, the problem with him is he's averaging career lows in a lot of stats. Points, minutes, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, steals, assists. I mean, it's been rough for Klay, and he's even talked about it, saying that, he thinks he's going to come out of it, and once he does, it's going to be scary for the league. And for his sake, I hope so. For the Mavericks' sake, I hope so. Now, when it comes to Nico Harrison, I was a believer in this team. Do they have a ton of ex-Lakers? Yes. So am I a little biased? Maybe. But again, when they're healthy, Kyrie, AD, with a bunch of solid role players, including Cooper Flagg, yes, he's only a rookie, but next year, maybe the year after, sure, Kyrie and AD are getting up there in age a little bit, but I mean, you still got to like what they got on this team with other young players like PJ Washington and Derek Lively. Now, if the fan base was a little more understanding of Nico Harrison and his vision for the team, I don't think he would have been fired. He wasn't fired because the team is 3-8. He might not have even been fired because he traded away Luka. He was fired because they couldn't even play at home anymore. Every time there was a home game, the fans are chanting, fire Nico from the first quarter. I mean, it's terrible. It's hard to watch. It's hard to listen to. And you can't imagine having a guy running a team who can't even show his own face at the home court. Now, going along with that, I remember, obviously, where I was the night that Luka was traded. I remember getting the notification. Yes, it was late, but because I was in California, it wasn't too late, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock if I remember correctly. And I was shocked, to say the least. I mean, I, like everybody else, thought it was fake. I thought there's no way either team would do this, because my immediate reaction was, okay, the Lakers are throwing the season away, because I thought that Luka and LeBron couldn't play together. I've only seen Luka with the ball in his hands. I've only seen LeBron with the ball in his hands. LeBron's 40 years old. Although he's an all-NBA player still, he's at the end of his career. Does he want to play off the ball? I didn't know how it all worked. Boy, was I wrong. Luka and LeBron were fantastic last year, and I'm excited for LeBron to get back with an even better Austin Reeves to see how well the three of them can really fit in together now, with JJ having a little bit more comfort in his offense. Now on the flip side, everybody dogs on Nico Harrison for the trade and trading away Luka, the superstar that just got you to the finals. But again, I don't think he was wrong for trading Luka. What I think is that he was wrong for how much he got back. I mean, that's the story of this entire trade. You trade away a 25-year-old superstar, 5-time first-team All-NBA for a 31-year-old, 32-year-old that is incredible. He's in the prime of his career, but he's got so many injury issues. He's, on the way down rather than on the way up, potentially. And this is a team that you want to win now. I mean, they were just in the finals last year. So again, from Nico's perspective, I understand not wanting Luka at the helm of your team when you're trying to have a defensive team that's focused on effort, impact, and just straight up winning. And to be honest, last year and every year before that, that wasn't Luka. He's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to shoot as much as he can, and anytime that he feels he's not in a good position, he's going to set one of his teammates up, and it's going to work. I mean, he's an offensive juggernaut on his own, just like LeBron has been all these years. But he's an absolute liability on defense until this year. Nico Harrison definitely created a monster in Luka. I mean, we've seen it in the weight transformation. If you've watched the Laker games this year, you know how much effort he is putting onto the defensive end. And it also helps that he has a guy like Austin Reeves to take some of the pressure off of him. Not that he couldn't do that with Kyrie next to him, but it just allows him to do a little less when more is needed from him on the defensive end, because the Mavericks, I would like to say, had a better defensive foundation outside of just Luka, whereas the Lakers, that might not be their whole agenda until now. If we were to redo this entire trade, I, as Nico Harrison, still do it. However, you got to get more in return. I mean, there's simply no way you walk out of there with one first-round pick. That's the beginning of it. And I don't know how you make the money work, but you have to get Austin Reeves back too. I mean, you cannot trade away Luka and leave Austin Reeves on the table. I mean, Max Christie's a great role player. I think he could turn into a decently high-level starter, but that's about it. Anthony Davis, we know what we're getting from AD, but it's for a limited time. Luka could play for the next 10 to 15 years. We have no idea. And Austin Reeves is looking like he could be the same. If you could get Austin Reeves in a trade for Luka with Anthony Davis, I think the uproar is much more diminished. Much more. But again, it all comes down to the fans. I mean, they hate Nico Harrison for trading away their golden boy, rightfully so. I mean, I can't be upset with the fans for that. But in his defense, they haven't been able to see the team that he created, not even in the slightest. And I really do think that this team is going to turn around at some point. Give AD some time to get his health back. Allow Clay to find his rhythm again. Obviously, he's probably upset not playing with Luka because he went to the Mavs to play with Luka, and a report came out today that he let go and offer 4 years, $80 million with the Lakers because he wanted to play with Luka, and look where he is now. Give Kyrie some time to get back. Of course, let him run the offense instead of a rookie Cooper Flagg who is not a point guard. Look, you're not going to find a bigger Cooper Flagg fan than me. I watched pretty much every game of his at Duke. But the dude's not a point guard. If you watch all of Duke's losses last year, several of them came at the end of the game where Coop was trying to get his own bucket and he fumbled the dribble. Sometimes the defense was making an impact, sometimes not. He just straight up struggled to create his own shot at the end of a game, and I expect him to get a lot better at that. But the simple point is he is not a point guard. He's not a primary ball handler. He's not a primary playmaker. He is a fantastic secondary in all of those. But again, the kid is 18. You can't expect him to come into the league, be a point guard for a team with championship aspirations when he's seemingly never played point guard, and just expect him to do well right off the gate. Now, his last game, he scored 26 points. He had a great outing, even though, the boos were raining in with the Fire Nico chants. But I think he's on the way up, just like we all expected. And like I'm saying, once everybody gets back into their rhythm, we find our health, I think the Mavericks are going to be a really good team. And again, we're only 11 games into the season. I fully expect them to make at least a playoff push, if not make the playoffs, not just a play-in. And for years to come, I think they are definitely going to be a threat in the West if they continue to get better. So I will be one of the few people to defend Nico Harrison on not just the internet, but probably the planet. Is that easy coming from a Laker fan? Yes, of course it is. I mean, he's made my life so much better with Luka Doncic on my team now. But I still saw the vision. I was heartbroken when we traded away Anthony Davis and Max Christie, because if you forgot, the Lakers were one of the best teams in the league at the time of that trade. We had just beaten the Knicks without AD. We were rolling. We were the number one defensive team in the league at that point for a few months. I mean, they were looking like a real scary championship level team, and then they traded for Luka and essentially threw it all away last year. But here we are. Lakers are 8-3, fourth seed in the West, all without LeBron and having several games without Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic. And they look like have a really good system with JJ Redick and their defensive-minded team. And the Mavericks, on the other hand, just 3-8 and not a lot of promise until everybody comes back. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I would love to hear some debates. Tell me why Nico deserved to be fired. Tell me what you would have done if you were in his shoes. I would love to talk about it and see what you guys think. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, like and share, and we'll see you in the next one.